I want to get into our naturally inspired moment now. This is an important one because I think we're all guilty of doing this. I don't know if it's guilt, but it's not helping us. It's not helping us. And I think we all do it. So here are 5 strategies to identify if comparing yourself to others is actually holding you back instead of driving you forward. So number 1, notice when you're distracted from your own goals. If you spend more time watching someone else's progress than focusing on your own plan, it's a real red flag. So ask yourself this: am I reviewing my own progress, or am I watching theirs? This is so important in the day of, media on the social platforms of like Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. We're living life through other people's experiences. A lot of the time, it's sucking up our time. We aren't intentional with our own actions. We're diving in and letting other people's lives shape us. Watching them live. What a bizarre world we're living in, right? When we just sit around for hours sometimes, we know people are spending 7 to 8 hours on their phones, and they're watching other people live instead of living themselves. So make sure you're not doing that. Make sure you're not comparing yourself to people online, because here's the thing. They don't put bad stuff online about themselves. Everything, let me tell you, everything is constructed. It's carefully curated, and it's not real. A lot of it's not the norm, right? Maybe this happened to them. But what you're looking at most of the time is somebody's highlight reel. And then you judge their highlight reel by your blooper reel. Everything that's wrong in your life, you're judging and comparing to somebody's highlight reel. So please keep that in mind, because it does not help. It does not help your state, and it does not help your results. Next, check your effort level. If comparison leads to frustration instead of action, you might be using it as an excuse to stay in your comfort zone. So ask yourself, am I training, learning, or practicing at full capacity? Or am I just talking about how far ahead they are? With talk like that, it sows the attitude of, why bother? Oh my gosh, everybody's so ahead of me. Why bother? You've ever thought that? You've ever been looking at something online and just thinking, wow, everybody's got their crap together and I'm the only one that doesn't. That brings your vibration way down, That inner dialogue can derail you for days on end because you think, why bother? This is hopeless. This is too much. So next, look for emotional drain instead of energy. So healthy competition fuels you. Unhealthy comparison drains you. If you feel envy, self-doubt, or resentment instead of motivation, you're not using the comparison productively. Here's how I will use things, and I don't call it comparison, I call it contrast. Follow some people that are inspiring. If you're going to be spending time online, which kind of we all have to do nowadays, make sure that you're following people and visiting people online that are inspiring. People who have overcome extreme adversity, and yet they're still showing up every day. Follow people like that. Be purposeful instead of a lot of this materialism that we see in this flash and, oh, look at me, I've got this, I've got that. And, all the stuff, stuff. It's all about stuff. Who cares about stuff anymore? I think we're living in such crucial times. The guy with the most stuff doesn't win. So make sure, you're looking for emotional drain, that you're not doing that to yourself purposely. Number 4, assess if you're playing small. If you're comparing to avoid taking on bigger challenges, I'm doing fine compared to them, so why push myself? It's a sign that you're not stretching your limits. So ask yourself, what's the hardest thing I could do next? Maybe that scares me a little bit. Yeah, we use comparison in the opposite way too, right? We'll compare ourselves to the train wrecks that we see, the poor people that, put that all their dirty laundry online, right? And they just let it all air out. And you think, oh my gosh, what's going on there? Somebody needs to tell them maybe don't air that out because, other people are watching, but not for a good reason. Many times it's not for a good reason, right? It actually makes other people feel better if they can compare themselves to a life that's going wrong. And so it's mean. When I think about it, it's freaking mean, and you see it all the time. So don't do that to yourself. If you're comparing yourself to other people, it could be a sign that you're just not playing big enough yourself. Because I tell you, when I started doing this with Naturally Inspired, I was stretching myself so thin, I wouldn't think about anybody else because I was just like, man, this is hard. This is hard, putting yourself out there every day, preparing and all of the different variables of trying to learn business and actually connect to people and build relationships. I was exhausted, crashing out at 10 o'clock at night. I'm out because it's all my energy is going towards this thing that I really want to help people with and to build. I didn't have any energy for comparison. And it actually helped me stop caring about what people thought too, because I just didn't have time for it. Too many demands, too many exciting things, too many things to grow and get up and try again the next day. Because believe me, there's lots of failure. Lots of failing before you get going, So don't do that. Don't be afraid to stretch yourself because that will really cure that comparison urge. Number 5, audit your progress without the external scoreboard. Measure yourself against your own past performance. You want to get competitive? You want to really get competitive? Compare you to the old you. Compare you to the old you. How much are you growing? Measure yourself against your own past performance, not someone else's current highlight reel. As I said, am I better than I was last month? Can you say that? Am I better than I was last month? If not, then your comparison isn't helping you. It's hiding the fact that you've plateaued. Maybe you're comfortable again. A certain level of comfort is great, but a too much comfort for too long and you're not growing, which means you're not getting the most out of this experience here on planet Earth this time around, You're not getting the most experience out of it. You have to feed your inspiration to grow. It doesn't just show up every morning, right? Intention, so key. Intention. You need to be the designer of your life. Don't let the portal, aka the phone, don't let that design your life. You design your life. Don't compare to others. Compare to yourself. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia. We'll be right back for hour 2. We've got a wonderful guest coming up.